So can you manage to tempt me over to the dark side of fly fishing?
Oh, it's great. I think you'll actually never regain your place now in the sort of elevated world of the game angler. You'll be tainted forever now because you've touched the dark side.
Do you reckon?
Absolutely.
So Ken, you seem to be really fascinated and keen on pike. What is it that really has kind of captured your interest?
I had a fabulous experience when I was young. I caught my first pike on Lough Kinnail and it chased me ashore, literally chased me ashore. But I got stone fascinated with them, and they're a fantastic predator. They've been around since the time of the saber-toothed tiger and the hairy mammoth. They're about 30 million years around.
Wow.
And they're very, very similar to shark. So you have parallel evolution between the sharks and the pike. And the way they size up their prey, the way they attack their prey, the way they're built, they're very, very much the kind of top predator. And we know now that from all sorts of relics that have been looked at, relic fish from the past, they haven't changed a huge amount in thousands and thousands of years. And they don't see why. They do it for a living and they do it really well.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Luke.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Not too bad at all today. And yourselves?
Well, very well. We're just having a chat about where we might go today because the weather certainly has me confused, Mark. I'm not really sure what to make of it.
This morning, as you know, it was raining quite heavily, and all through the night, in fact. And I think that it's eased off now. So if there's an opportunity at all today, it's going to take place in the morning. So I've selected a small lake. It's north of our location here, and it's in the county of Cavan. You'll be fishing in relatively shallow water, not out beyond 15 feet, and right up to the rush. They're not in the rush yet. They're standing off, but they will take the opportunity to feed today. A realistic goal today would be an 8 to, say, 12-pound fish.
Okay.
And I think if you get somewhere in the middle, in or around 10, I think I'll be happy for you, and I think you'll be very happy for yourself.
Well, Luke, that's it. I mean, PB, personal best today, somewhere around 10, 11 pounds.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid there won't be too much pressure because the personal best for me for pike on the fly could be a pound.
Ah,
so
we have to set a target. So let's set the target high.
no pressure.
No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. County Cavan has an endless choice of lakes, and before we knew it, we had arrived at Mark's secret location.
Conditions aren't too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very wet earlier, but it's moved off a little bit now, the front.
Yeah.
And with that light and that lovely light wind,
Yeah.
conditions are quite good now for fly fishing, even though it's a bit early in the year.
It's lovely and mild for February, isn't it?
Very mild, yeah,
Yeah,
it really is.
yeah.
I would guess that water's probably around 8 or 9 degrees.
Fantastic.
It's in February. This is the time when they're beginning to get frisky, beginning to think about spawning. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of movement out of
Yeah.
them, because that's important. They're obviously cold-blooded fish.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they're going to respond to
The
the water
environmental
temperature as
temperatures,
such. So that should mean that we'll get the fish from about maybe 15, 20 feet right into the reeds.
Wow.
And ideally, to get you started, I want to try and concentrate a bit on the reeds.
Okay.
Because what you'll find in the reeds is you usually have maybe about 4 foot or more, maybe a metre to a metre and a half of water. And what you'll see is lots of movement.
Great.
So they very often come and they'll swirl at the fly, and then they'll just suddenly just take it. It'll just go very tight. And the trick really is not to fish, I think, not to fish too big.
Okay.
Because certainly, traditionally, these were the sort of flies that people fished. You know, they still have their place. but at
Very
the
easy to
same
miss them
time-
on the end of that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's an awful lot to nip at.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the smaller flies, I mean, particularly these sort of ones where you just have very simple head feathers, a little bit of blue, a nice arch on the top, and it couldn't be simpler to tie.
Yeah.
A little bit of peacock herl then
They're
in the
lovely,
back.
aren't they?
Yeah, really nice.
Really natural looking.
When they're in the water then, they're a lovely little mouthful. This time of the year then, fish can just suck them in, and
Yeah.
everything, you know, everything's very simple.
Better chance of hooking them.
But certainly these bigger ones now, this looks fantastic in the water. It's a double hook rig.
Oh, yeah.
But that looks really well in the water. But
Okay.
when that gets wet, I mean, really, you want to be on your own in the boat in terms of being able to cast it. You really can't take
never
you really can't take a risk with it.
So are we going to be getting these fish on the surface mostly, or?
I think hopefully we'll get them in relatively shallow water where we've plenty of movement. I doubt if we get them on the surface. If they were really on the surface, that's one of the old, well-used poppers that I
yeah.
have.
Okay.
And certainly the poppers are good if they're really up, but that's generally when it's a bit warmer. Probably the most important thing though are the leaders, because I have these nice I have these nice braided leaders that a friend of mine makes for me, and as you'll see on that one there, there's actual wire on it.
Oh, yeah.
And people always associate wire with pike's teeth and so
Oh, the
on,
teeth,
and
yeah.
rightfully so. So that's one that you'd use that big fly on. Get it right
a lot
down
of weight
to
in
the
that,
bottom.
isn't there?
It's a lot of weight. And you add that weight then to the wet fly, and there's a lot of technique required to try and get it any distance at all. So I think it's time to start fishing and stop talking.
Great. Although it's usually possible to fish pike marks from the shore, this lake is best fished from a boat, as the shore access is really limited by the reeds. Wow.
No, Luke, that's just a selection. Yeah, I mean, these are a mixture of ones you'd use, and the fish are very frisky when it's warm.
Okay.
I think we'll go for something larger. That's a lovely fulling mill one.
Okay.
That's just come out, and I've a fulling mill large deceiver on as well.
Great.
I like them, you know, they have a lovely bit of material in them. But if you start with a little roach imitation, I'll fish something bigger. I'll fish one of the big fulling mill ones, and then we can see then. But we have every choice you could imagine there, you know. Great. So it's very nice. It's a bit cooler now than I thought it would be, so you want to let those flies well down. But it's really nice, lovely bit of light. Yeah. I'll bring you in and then I'll set you up nicely.
Incredible conditions for the middle of February,
fantastic.
Isn't it?
Yeah. See, the wind is going right down by those reeds. That should do us, I think.
Yeah, lovely.
I'll get in the prow now and get this bigger fly going.
Just picture those big pike lying in those reeds, can't you?
Yeah, really can. Okay.
I don't know whether I got a little touch there or whether I bumped a reed, but
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
that's something.
That must be Jackson, this. I see that part in front of you?
Yeah.
So what happens is the big females move into those sort of reedy areas, and what they'll do is when they're ready to spawn, actually start swimming through, spewing out eggs, and the males will be running after all the consorts, quite a number of them.
The multiple males will fertilise one female.
Multiple males, yeah.
Okay.
But they're quite aggressive. The minute they start to feed, they go on these little creatures called cladosser, little plankton.
Okay. So what's the kind of geology here? Is the water?
Water's very peaty. I think if you put down an anchor now, you'll see.
Oh, Mark was saying that.
Yeah, it's quite a peaty bottom in it.
So quite a low pH.
Yeah. And yet lakes around it are on a limestone base, and they're much, much different.
Okay.
But you'll see now when we catch one, the fish are lovely and fat.
As the weather took a turn for the worse, our luck took a turn for the better. Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, is he there?
There he is. Walloped that. Absolutely walloped it. Oh, there she comes.
Oh yeah, very nice. I'll just grab the net there for you.
Oh my God. I'd hate to feel what a 20 pound one
Thickness
feels
in the
like.
back, you know.
They're so broad, yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice fish, actually. Oh, that's a bigger one again.
Ready for the net. I thought she jumped into the net then.
I could have scooped her, but we'll see. She's full of life.
Full of life, yeah.
Beautiful fish.
They're so muscular and lean, aren't they, these fish?
Oh yeah, that's a good fish. That's a 7 pounder.
Super.
Lovely. Very nice. Put your hand to that, Luke, and I'll get the things
You're
ready.
hooking, Matt.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like a torpedo. What weight do you reckon she is?
About 8 pounds, I'd say.
Look at the gut
Yeah.
on her. Stuffed.
She's very broad.
Yeah, I'm going to get her back.
Yep. I can smell a big lady here.
You reckon?
Oh yeah. There has to be a brute somewhere along here
That's nice light now.
cruising along. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Much nicer now than it was.
So what will these pike be feeding on, Ken, in this lake?
Predominantly, I'd imagine roach.
Okay.
But what we have in Ireland is extraordinary in that in the Midlands here, we have a lot of hybrids, and nobody really knows why. huge densities of these hybrids. So you can have roach bream hybrids, you can have rudd bream hybrids, and all sorts of different mixes, and they're fantastic as pike food,
Okay.
because when you're looking at them on the echo sounder, you'll actually see these bait balls and the pike around the bait balls as such.
Oi, fish on. Oi.
Come on, Luke.
Oh,
Don't be too anxious now. Don't be too anxious. Just take them easy.
going deep.
That's a good sized fish.
What sort of depth are we fishing in here?
I'd say you're probably looking at about maybe 3 meters, 10, 12 feet. And that's a good sized fish.
Going down deep.
Yeah. Just let him, or let her. Ooh. Yeah. People say they don't fight.
Fight like hell.
Very good. You can get her around on the
Give me
far
the
side.
run
there.
around.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Nice
Lovely
fish.
fish.
Oh, feisty as hell,
Lovely fish,
aren't they?
yeah.
She's pulling a line like mental.
Excellent.
This rod, Ken, is just a 7 weight, and
Yeah.
I can see the benefit of the 8 or 9 weight.
Well, I mean, that's lovely fish, but it's relatively small.
Yeah.
So if you
Look
had
at the loop
something
in this rod.
15, I mean,
I might be a while.
yeah, you'd be a long time. And it's hard on the fish, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful fish.
Very good.
We get this one back, I think, will we?
Absolutely, yeah. Good, he jumped.
Although the weather deteriorated, with the cloud and the rain came an increase in temperature. This seemed to trigger an increase in activity, and we started getting takes fast and furious. See the reeds?
Yeah.
Oh, missed.
He's smaller than I thought. I thought he was a bit bigger.
Thank you. Even as I was retrieving the line to stop and get a cup of tea, my fly got nailed again. Oi, oi, oi. Fish on.
Did you miss one?
On.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah. Just when you take a break. Have a Twix, have a pike. Don't know that he's terribly big, but he's fairly feisty. As I can vouch for, unhooking these guys really requires care. Pike have an anticoagulant in their mouth, which means even the smallest of cuts from one of the hundreds of razor-sharp teeth can bleed for hours.
Oh, that was like a surgeon. Beautifully done. That's a nice little fish now.
Isn't he
Nice.
gorgeous?
Yeah, no, he's about 3 pounds, 3 or 4 pounds. Lovely. Excellent.
I hope we can get his big siblings.
Ah, well, we need his big brother, big sister, more importantly.
Oh my God, he doesn't have one that net in his mouth.
Great.
Let him go back.
Yeah.
Gone. As the light and temperature dropped, we tried another couple of likely spots, but just as fast as the action erupted, it suddenly disappeared. Well, thanks Ken, that was really enjoyable. The weather's going to get the better of us now.
I think it is, yeah. Well, really just filled in over the last hour or so.
Yeah.
But it was very lively. It was good this morning, wasn't it?
It was great. Yeah,
I mean,
really
the
exciting.
fish were really moving.
Yeah, we didn't get that target of a 10-pound pounder.
No, we didn't get the
Your
10
target,
pounder.
but
No, we went close. We got one about 8. And,
I'm very happy with that fish.
Yeah,
you know.
you did well now, because that little fly that I gave you, the one that was imitating, yeah, that little
Yeah.
guy with the blue and white and silver, was definitely imitating little roach fry, and
Yeah.
that's what they were sucking in. I mean, the ones I got, most of them are very small, but you got 3 really decent fish.
Yeah.
Look, it's an introduction to you
Ah.
in terms of fly fishing for pike.
And great sport and great fight. Like, I can't imagine what a 15 or 20-pound fish feels like.
Ah,
on a
they're
fly rod.
fantastic. And what
I
we'll
hope
do
to
next
find
then
out.
is we'll try and give ourselves a day and target one of the really big ones.
Yeah.
It's a very dour sort of fishing, but we'll
Specialist.
try and do it when it's a bit warmer, you know.
Yeah, no, really exciting. So thanks a million and really appreciate it.
Not at all. No, it's my pleasure. Great.
We'll
really
get
good.
in before we get
I think we
drowned.
should. Yeah, I think we
More
should
drowned.
move.